FBI Director James Comey said today that the Bureau will not recommend any charges be brought against Hillary Clinton regarding the mishandling of government emails during her time as Secretary of State.
Mike Carter here on the floor of the DNC. I'm here with former state senator from Ohio, Ms. Nina Turner.
Yes.
Thank you so much for taking a minute with us.
Thanks for having me.
What are your thoughts so far on the beginning of the DNC here tonight? A lot of Bernie supporters in the crowd and a lot of ruckus thus far.
I mean, they're voicing their opinions, but that's what a good democracy is about.
Sir, is there anything the Republican Party can do over the next few days to get Americans to take a second look at their presumptive nominee?
It's all up to Donald Trump.
Before streaming apps like Periscope were available, you needed a lot of equipment to be able to bring live content to viewers. Now, thanks to Periscope, all you need
is this. This particular salmon run season is running about 3 to 4 weeks behind schedule. One of the theories behind that has to do with last winter being so cold, nearly 3/4 of the Great Lakes were trapped under ice, including the lake that this river runs into, Lake Ontario. Half hot rod, half hot dog, but all smiles. Grab your mustard and hold the sauerkraut, because today we're riding shotgun in the Wienermobile. And so with that, it is official here in Philadelphia. Hillary Clinton will be the first woman to be a major party's nominee for president in United States history. Snowmaking 101. Water plus air equals But did you know there's more to it than that? I decided to head to Greek Peak in Cortland to find out.
The man-made snow is a little bit more dense than your Mother Nature's snow, your natural snow. A lot of times it's powdery, so you have to watch out for the blowouts and everything. What that means is the snow will literally run away from the tiller, around the edges of it.
A snowmaking system is just as much about what you don't see as what you do. Resorts work year-round, much of the time at night, to maintain the infrastructure necessary to pump water and air uphill. But where does this water and air go? Right to a snow gun. There are two types of snow guns. The first uses water and compressed air to separate water particles into a fine mist.
All right, feed me some water.
That mist then freezes in the air as it falls to the ground. The second type of gun uses a similar method but uses water and an electric fan to blow streams of water into rings.
This will be ring 1, 2, 3, 4.
Those rings can be adjusted based on the amount of snowmaking required.
Wet bulb is a combination of temperature and humidity.
The wet bulb calculation means that the lower the humidity is, the higher the temperature can be to make snow, sometimes even at or slightly above freezing. When the wet bulb says it's time to make snow, something called a nucleator is added to the water, which acts kind of like a glue that holds the water molecules together just long enough for ice crystals to form around them. Greek Peak uses a product called SnowMax, which uses a substance extracted from dead bacteria as its main form of nucleation.
The best I can describe it is dehydrated fish parts.
One thing is for sure, the process of making snow is not cheap. It costs nearly $5,000 for every 8 hours of snowmaking, meaning it takes a lot of this to make a lot of this. And at Greek Peak, which averages 790 hours of snowmaking a year, making snow costs nearly $4 million each winter. So the next time you're thinking of hitting the slopes, check that wet bulb, and remember, Newhouse knows, and now, so do you. Democrats on Capitol Hill last week voiced their concerns about the GMO labeling bill working its way through Congress.
9 out of 10 Americans believe that they should have a simple, easy-to-read indication on a package whether food is GMO or not.
Senator Boxer released a statement calling the Senate bill a sham that falls well short of the goal of straightforward, easily obtained information. The fight focuses on how the labeling is done. The Senate proposal would give food companies multiple but voluntary options on how to label GMOs. States like Vermont would lose the right to set their own rules on how the information should appear.
Now, if anyone can read this code and tell me if there are GMO ingredients in this product, then you really deserve a Genius Prize.
In the future, the food you buy at the grocery store could contain a QR code like this.
to let you know whether or not a food item contains GMOs. But in order to know for sure, you're going to need a smartphone like this with access to the internet. Vermont's law already has led some companies to change their labels. That includes Campbell's, even though that brand spent $500,000 to defeat California's GMO labeling proposition back in 2012.
If you label something, it is basically a red flag to consumers.
Food industry groups like the International Food Information Council note that GMO products have been in American grocery stores for more than 2 decades, with no known side effects.
GMOs are not an ingredient, they are a method of production, just like what kind of tool you would use. So you're sending a negative message just by the presence of that being there.
Congress is scheduled to vote on the bill before it goes to recess at the end of the week. In Washington, I'm Mike Carter.
If you're looking for militant protesters in Cleveland for the Republican National Convention, you won't find any here.
Well, it was time to bring this luxurious protest experience to the masses. And the best place to come to is straight into the Lion's Den, and here we go with the Trump Hut.
The Trump Hut is part art installation and part tongue-in-cheek social commentary.
We wanted something to dramatize the growing wealth inequality in the U.S. because we thought that was the most important issue in this election. It kind of spills over into issues of race, spills over to immigration issues as well, too.
It's designed to be an inclusive environment where people can talk about political differences regardless of party affiliation.
Golden light.
The Trump Hut's for everybody. It's for protesters and supporters alike.
The artists who built Trump Hut hope people will walk away from the piece with a focus on social inequality and the wealth divide in the U.S. And it's to those reasons that who actually built Trump Hut also mattered.
When we decided to create this, we decided to hire a Mexican-born artist who was the person who created this whole structure right here.
I think humor can be huge in protests.
Well, it's got finest Oaxacan straw, as you can see. Also very luxurious Turkish carpet, ruggery. We got a Corinthian or perhaps a Dorian column in the middle.
I think people would pay more attention if they can laugh at something, if they find something that's humorous, rather than something that's aggressive.
Its designers hope to bring many more Trump Huts to life through a Kickstarter campaign. And if all goes to plan, you could be seeing Trump Huts popping up near several of Donald Trump's actual homes throughout the country. Mike Carter, NCC News.
It's full of hot air in here.
Cleveland.
In the midst of one of the hottest days of the summer here in the Northeast, Donald Trump came to Connecticut today to try and garner as many Republican votes as he could in the traditionally left-leaning New England state.
Donald Trump supporters waited in line for up to 4 hours on Saturday, braving 95-degree heat, all in an effort to see the GOP nominee at a campaign stop in Connecticut.
America, it can't be like this for a second longer. We need Donald Trump and we need to make America great again.
No Republican presidential nominee has won Connecticut since George Bush Sr. in 1988. With Trump needing a bump in swing states like Florida, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, many party insiders question the strategy of vying for votes here. But State Republican Chairman J.R. Romano isn't one of them.
Is that Hillary Clinton will bring those economic policies that we have here in this state to the federal level. Do any of us want that?
This state is suffering. The average family under Dan Malloy and liberal democratic economic policies, we've lost business, and not small businesses. I mean, we've lost GE, we've lost major Fortune 500 companies out of this state.
General Electric is moving its headquarters from Fairfield, Connecticut to Boston, due in part, experts say, to a $1.5 billion tax hike on employers under Democratic Governor Dan Malloy.
You're a rotten governor, Daniel. You've done a bad job.
Using the state as an example of high corporate taxes driving jobs away, Trump also promises to apply heavy taxes to those companies that choose to relocate outside of the U.S.
And when they hear that there's a 35% tax to be paid on the products, whatever it is they make, they're not leaving Connecticut, folks. They're going to stay.
As he tries to turn the page on a summer fraught with bad press, Donald Trump today blamed the media for his recent drop in the polls.
I'm not running against crooked Hillary Clinton. I'm running against the crooked media. That's what I'm running against.
Having already banned nearly 24 media outlets this campaign, Trump today threatened to do so again, this time to the New York Times.
So I think maybe what we'll do, maybe we'll start thinking about taking their press credentials away from them. You know?
Trump said tonight he'll plan on giving an immigration policy speech in about 2 weeks. And to those states, including Connecticut, that may not vote for the GOP nominee come November, well, Donald Trump had a message for them as well, saying, quote, "I've spent all this money. Can you imagine how bad I'll feel if I lose? I will never forgive the people of Connecticut, Florida, and Ohio." Reporting from Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, Mike Carter, Elections Unpeeled.